I think we all know people who don't take the marriage relationship very seriously. As believers, however, we do, or at least we should. Obviously, there are all kinds of practical reasons why we take our relationship with one another as husbands and wives so seriously. The harder we work at our marriage relationship, the happier we'll be. There's no relationship really that will have more of an influence on the direction of our lives besides our relationship with Jesus than our relationship with our spouse. The relationship we have with one another as husbands and wives is not only going to impact us, it's going to impact our children, and actually it's going to impact our children's children as well. The better relationship we have with one another as husbands and wives, the stronger our families are going to be, and the stronger our families are going to be, the stronger our churches are going to be, and the stronger our churches are going to be, the better our culture is going to be. The marriage relationship is such a significant relationship, and there are all kinds of practical reasons why we take the relationship we have with one another very seriously, but there's actually an even more significant reason than any of those why we as Christians are so serious about, or need to be so serious about, how we relate to one another as husbands and wives. And that's because we know that the way we relate to one another as husbands and wives is intended to be a picture of Christ's relationship with the church. That's huge. Ephesians chapter 5, check it out. The way husbands love their wives is intended to be a picture of Christ's love for the church. And the way wives relate to their husbands is intended to be a picture of the way the church relates to Christ. Our marriages are about something much, much bigger than us. And I wonder, I feel a sense of urgency about this. I wonder what kind of picture people are getting as they look at our marriages of Christ and the church. As they look at you as a husband, are they seeing someone who is self-sacrificing, who is loving even when it's difficult, who is pursuing his wife, who is laying down his life for the good of his spouse? Or are they seeing someone who's in neutral? Or are they seeing someone who is basically using his spouse for his own good and for his own interests? What picture are people getting when they look at you as a husband? And what picture are people getting when they look at you as a wife? Are they seeing the way the church should respect Christ and should submit to Christ? Our marriages are about someone much bigger than us. And obviously we know God's good, and so when he gives us these responsibilities, when he calls on us as husbands to love our wives, and when he calls on wives to submit to their husbands, he's not calling on us to do something that is intended for our harm. Instead, he's giving us these commands knowing that if we obey them, they're only going to do us good. We are going to be happier, and our marriages are going to be stronger as a result of obedience. But our obedience is ultimately about something even more important than us being happy in our marriages. It's about the glory of God. And that's why we as a church should take marriage seriously. Our attitude towards being a husband and our attitude towards being a wife should be very, very different than the average unbelievers, because we know the purpose of marriage is ultimately about someone much, much more important than us.